Roger Dale Brown, and me and my wife, Beverly Ford Evans, are going to put together a video for you guys. And the video is on how to pack your bags for plein air. I've taught a lot of years and seen pretty much everything as far as students packing their gear, and it can get pretty ridiculous sometimes. So we're putting this together for you so you can have more of an enjoyable experience outside. And it'll also help me out a ton. So, you got to realize what you're painting for, if it's a long trip or a short trip. If it's a long trip, you're not going to want to bring a lot of garbage with you, junk that you don't need. You need to be very conservative with what you pack. Okay, so you're going to be going through airports, and they have weight limits in there that you're going to be charged for if you go over the weight limit. And your instructor is not going to schlep your stuff around for you when you get to the class. So you're going to have to do that. So you just don't need everything that you have in the studio in your plein air bag. So my wife is the master at packing for plein air. And so I'm going to let her do this part of the video for you guys, and just pay attention and learn. And so I'm going to hand it over to her. This is Beverly Evans.
Hi, I'm Beverly Ford Evans. I'm going to use my cheat sheets because I have so much information to tell y'all that if I look down, just know it so I don't forget to tell you anything. I'm going to start out with gathering and organizing your gear. I like to take the time to think through what our paint trip is going to be. What we typically do on a paint trip is we go out to gather information, get color notes. We are not out there to create a masterpiece. And I don't like to carry a lot of weight. So I have learned how to pare down and simplify my gear so that when I get to a painting location, I'm not exhausted by the time I set my gear up. I can actually have energy to still paint. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to start with the backpack. The first thing you need to be able to effectively go outside is to have a good backpack. I went to REI and I took my palette, I took my tripod with me to make sure I was getting the right size backpack for my gear. And then I had them fit me for the right size for my body, which was, they were showing me backpacks I would not have looked at. I was, trying to find something small, something lightweight, and they found something very lightweight for me and that holds all my gear, and I can get everything I need and still have room to spare for my lunchbox if I'm going to be out all day. For anything extra I might, need to take with me that day. But I'm just going to show you through the basics of what I typically pack. Okay, now that we've talked about the backpack, I want to talk a little bit about the palettes. We're getting ready to go on a paint trip, and I'm going to use this time this little strata, little half strata. It's got 2 side panels, so even though it's small, when you add its side panels to it, it becomes a good size painting surface. That will easily slide back into, look how quick it just comes apart and goes together. So into the backpack it goes. In looking for a palette, look at O&M, look at EZL, look at Strata. They all offer smaller, lighter weight palettes for you. Check out the weight of each one, check out the features, decide which one works best for you. There are others out there. Those are just the 3 brands that we're familiar with. They all also sell tripods that go with their palettes. You don't have to buy the tripod from them. If you have another tripod source, go for it. Make sure it folds up easily. Make sure it's lighter weight, heavy enough to hold the weight of your pallet, but light enough that it's not going to weigh you down. And it will just, beauty of a backpack. I'm going to put it on here now, but not totally, because I usually will wait and put the tripod on after I've got everything else in my bag. But it just rides on the backpack and everything goes on your back. The next thing I'm going to talk about is brushes. Know what size canvases you're going to be painting on and choose your brush sizes accordingly. When we're going out in the field to just get some color sketches and reference material, I usually paint 6x8, 8x10, 10x12. I like to paint pretty small because we're not going to stay in a location more than about an hour and a half. We're in a new place. We want to experience the place. We want to go to local areas, talk to local people, and it's all important stuff to go back to your studio and be able to create a believable studio piece from. If you stand in one place for 4 hours, you're going to miss out on the feel of that place. And so I digress. I was going to talk about brushes. So here I go. Now, knowing that I paint small, I limit my brush sizes to up to about an 8. And I have various shapes and textures of brushes, stiffnesses, and a palette knife. And I try to only take about 10 to 12 brushes. Don't need more than that for a week to 10 day paint trip. I also wanted to show you that Treacle carries this little samples of brush care things. They're just little tiny pots. This one is for oil-based paint to clean your brushes out at the end of the day. This one is for water-based paint, and this is a brush restorer. And it's plenty to take with you on a painting trip. It doesn't take up much room. It's lightweight in your suitcase. Remember, weight is your enemy in packing and in carrying. So check out these little brush care samples with Treacle, and get a good brush carrier. That this one, of course, is Treacle's. I happen to like their brushes and their equipment. But take care of your brushes while you're out, and you only need 10 brushes and a palette knife. Just color notes, people, just color notes. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the surfaces that Roger and I take with us to paint on. Since I have said, and I am like to travel light, I like to just take cut raw linen, unstretched. This is a scrap left over from a roll of linen we had for stretch canvases that I'm not letting it go to waste. I have used a template to draw out my 6x8 linen pieces that I'm going to put on my 12x16 panels that I'll show you in a second. I take 4 panels, or 4 pieces of linen to 2 different panels. So I'm effectively taking 4 canvases out on location with me, but only on 2 structures, 2 surfaces. So the 6x8, what I do is I cut it a 1/2 inch larger than a 6x8. So a 6x8 I cut to a 6.5 by 8.5. That way when I tape it onto my structure, I have room for the tape to not encroach on the paint surface where I'm going to paint. So on this piece of masonite, I've already got 2 pieces taped. I think this is a 6x8 and this is an 10 by 12. And on this panel from Treacle, blank birch 1/8" plywood panel from Treckle, I'll tape 2 more. So that gives me 4 painting surfaces to paint on during the day. And I only have 4 paintings in me in a day. So that makes for a really awesome painting experience day. I come home with 4 little paintings. So I typically will just cut my linen. I will carry them on the plane in a box like this. Always have my masking tape with me. There's a lid to this box. And that's how I travel. They travel to and from my home to my painting location. And then at the end of the day, when I'm home with my 4 freshly painted canvases, I just peel them off these structures and tape 4 more on, and I'm good to go for the next day to get 4 more little paintings done, 4 more little studies, 4 more little color notes. Now, Roger prefers to paint on a surface called multimedia board, and he gets it through multimediaartboard.com. Very thin, very lightweight. You can paint on it just raw. If you do, just know it's very absorbent, and so the paint will suck into it. What Roger likes to do is prime it with PVA, Gamblin's PVA first, and let it dry, and then it still has a little absorbency, but not too much. It's perfect for him. You can also glue your own linen or your own canvas onto it if you choose, whatever you want to paint on, whatever your preferred painting surface is. Or you can just, like I say, paint on it with just the PVA prime or gesso primed or a ground primed, whatever your preference of priming something with. Multimediaartboard.com also sells them with their own linen and canvas already glued to them. This happens to be one that Roger did that I had their multimedia board's linen already on it. And this is one of the ways he utilizes these boards. Like I mentioned before, we go out to do studies and color notes. And so it doesn't have to be a full painting. He taped it off, and with this one 11 by 14 board, got 2 beautiful color sketches. Same with this. You know, they are not meant to be finished paintings. They're our studies. That's to be brought back to the studio to then paint a beautiful large studio piece from. This is how mine looks when it's first ripped off the board, dry, take the tape off, has this cute little white border. But if I come home with a little gem that I want to frame, I can get a little 1/8" raw birch panel from Treckle and use some acid-free bookbinder glue, put a good coat on, seal it down, trim the edges. I can pop her in a frame. It's good to go. So if you don't have rolls of linen, it's not how you do your business. Senso Clear Prime linen pads are great. They're already in standard sizes. Centurion also has some linen canvas pads. I think they both come with 10 per pad, which are great. You don't have to cut anything. The difference is that they are a standard size. You know, an 8 by 10 is an 8 by 10. So instead of taping all the way around, you would just put tape in the 4 corners. If you come home with a little gem, you can fill in those corners later. If you don't, they're just your studies anyway, so it's okay. If you do choose to buy a roll of canvas, you can get that through Jerry's or Blick's. They have Frederick's, they have Clausen's. So it's easy to choose a way that works for you. Something already pre-cut, or buy some linen or canvas and cut it yourself. Or, like Roger, use the multimediaartboard.com. I showed you my panel carrier, which is actually a panel roo. This is, like I said, the only thing I take out in the field with me. These two 12 by 16 surfaces with 4 linen attached to them. Panel roo does not, they don't make them anymore, but Panel Pack makes the same idea with the rubber bands around it as opposed to the clips. And these are readily available, lightweight. Like I say, you use this system, you can take 4 canvases out on location with you, but this is all you have in your backpack, which is lightweight and small. So now I want to talk to you about paint. We're going on a week to 10-day paint trip, and as I've said, I paint small. The little 37 millimeter tubes is plenty of paint for me to take, and instead of 5 or 8 or 10 big tubes, the weight of that gets really heavy really quick. And this really is all of the paint you're going to need for going out, just for doing studies and color notes. The way I like to pack them is, when you buy them, a lot of times they will come in this handy little box. And if you have that, awesome, great, close it up, put it in your backpack. The one color I do take the big tube of is our titanium white. We personally like this M-Gram Fast Dry formula. It helps your paintings dry quicker. It doesn't tack up too quickly, but it tacks up quickly enough for the next day your paintings are pretty dry already. But white seems to be the one pigment that we use more of than anything else. So do take a big tube of white, but everything else I would stick with the little 37 milliliters. If you don't have the handy little boxes to pack them in, what I like to do is wrap them in something to protect them. And then something soft so that they're tight together. They can't poke each other and poke a hole in it, and you end up with a nasty mess. Then stick it in a bag and tighten that bag down. And even tape the bag if you want to, just so those paints can't move around and can't rupture each other. Highly important if you've ever had paint get ruptured in your suitcase. You will learn that really, really quick. Now, when I get to our painting location, I don't carry all of my paints with me. I bought pill bottles. Went to the vitamin shop. You can go to Walgreens, any place, Target, any place that has a pharmacy, they have pill bottles. And what I like to do is do a nice squirt of each color in the little dividers. The white, I will put 2 or 3. I will use 2 or 3 just so I'm taking more white with me when I'm in the field. And this goes in my backpack. I've reduced my weight and it's handy. It keeps me from wasting so much paint because I just open it up and dip out of them while I'm painting. And done with that painting, we're moving to the next spot. Boom, in the backpack it goes, and I haven't had to scrape my palette, waste any paint, have that mess. These little containers, I can use them all week long. At the end of the day, if I've used a color more than another, I can refill, but it helps keep them moist and from drying out, and it's a must for me. Now we're going to talk about the mineral spirits. As you know, you cannot fly with mineral spirits or mediums. You can fly with the Gamblin solvent-free gel in your check luggage, not in your carry-on. They will take it, believe me. So when you arrive at your painting location, if there's not an art store, there's always a Walmart or a hardware store. Just go buy a little can of odorless mineral spirits. And I keep that at our wherever we're staying. I like this little Gorilla, what is it called? Hold on, I have it written down. Mighty Mite Jr. brush washer made by Gorilla. And it holds 2 ounces of mineral spirits, which is plenty for me for the day. And at the end of my painting day, I'll take a paper towel, soak the remaining mineral spirits out, fill it back up for the next day, and it's tight. The lid tightens down tight, it doesn't leak, drops in my backpack. Roger prefers to take a fuel canister, and he will fill it probably about that full up because he doesn't want to take the extra weight either. And when he paints, he just pours some into the little tin cups, and when he's done painting that painting, dips his paper towel down in it, soaks it up, throws the paper towel away. Very easy way to carry your mineral spirits and not worry about leaking. Now let's talk about our paper towels, or whatever it is we are going to use to wipe our brushes with while we're painting and clean up our palette. Paper towels, the artist's choice go-to always. I've also like to use rags and take them back to the room at night, wash them out with soap and water, hang them up dry, use it again the next day. Cuts down on garbage. If you are using paper towels, I would suggest going to Artwork Essentials and getting one of these collapsible paper towel baskets. They hang nicely on your tripod, and you fill them up, you dump it into a garbage can nearby, put that back in your backpack. Easy enough. Okay, there's a few other things that are very important to have in your backpack and going out into the field with you. It's a good idea to carry a brush caddy. Keep your brushes, pull out what you need for that painting, keep them in there. It's just handy. Not necessary, but handy. Necessary is your sketch pad and pencil. You really are going to need to do little thumbnail sketches before you paint. It will save you time in the long run. It will make it more effective to get an effective painting. If you will take 3 minutes to do just a little thumbnail sketch. So be sure you have paper and pad in your backpack with you. A viewfinder that has the value scale is good to have. Your hat is an essential part of plein air painting. And the more fun, the better. Just saying. Lots of memories on that hat. Something is gonna happen to your gear or something or your friend's gear when y'all are out painting. Big clips are essential to have. They're not essential, but they will save your life sometime. A little bit of duct tape. I like to take just a section of duct tape and roll it up. I don't want to carry a big old thing of duct tape. You're not going to need it, but pull off some duct tape, make a little duct tape packet. What else should you pack? Bug spray, very important. Sunscreen, very important. Water bottle. I forgot to pick up the water bottle. The water bottle, essential. Snacks, granola bar, your camera. Masking tape is a good thing. Either a Swiss Army knife or what are they, all-in-one tools, multi-purpose tools. And we talked about, of course, the wet paint carrier and a poncho. You can, at the hardware store or Target in the little travel section, you can find these little packets of clear ponchos that are disposable. They are worthless except when you get caught out in a rainstorm. And then you can throw your backpack on, throw the poncho on, and you can get back to the car. Your gear stays dry, you stay dry. Always have 2 or 3 of those in your backpack also. If you're going to go into bear country, I suggest getting bear bells to attach to your backpack. We all want to see a bear, but we don't want to run into one when we bend a corner on a path. So having a little bear bell would be a good idea. If you're taking a snack with you when you're out in bear country, I would suggest getting the odor-proof food storage bags, so you are not a little walking trash can to the bear as you go down the path. And buy some bear spray when you arrive. If you're going to go to a snowy area to paint snow in the winter, like some of us crazy people do, I like to take a black bath mat to lay on the snow underneath my feet. The glare that comes off the snow will blind you, and it also creates a little buffer between you and the snow for a little better insulation. Hand warmers, very important to take if you're going out on the snow. Those are just a few little extra tips, but not things that when you're going out just for a normal paint trip you would take. But the rest of it is, and at the end of the video there'll be a list of these things. So if you didn't catch it while I was talking to you, that's fine. There'll be a list at the end that you can use for reference. So now I'm going to show you how I pack my backpack. I lay my panels, 12 by 16, panel room, panel pack in there. Drop my palette in there. Lay one of those brushes in there. Since backpacks have all sorts of little handy compartments, I use this one for my sketch pad, pencil, viewfinder. I like to put my paints and my brush holder up in this guy, and my little Mighty Mite Junior hang out up there. And this backpack happens to have great side pockets, and I can put the binder clips and the Swiss Army knife, or the all-purpose handy tool that has screwdriver, pliers, my duct tape. They all easily fit in there. And I actually use this a lot instead of bug spray. It's citronella oil and or lavender oil. For some reason, bugs don't like you when you have those on, which makes me happy. And they can just tuck right down in there. And they're gonna be sitting up straight when I've got it on. And let's see, I've got to get my trash bag and my rags in there. Zip all that up. And let's see, on this side, slide my tripod in. Strap her down. And on this side, my water bottle. And I'm good to go. At that point, she weighs about 18 pounds. And buckle pull in. Which way do you go? There you go. And I'm ready. I mean, how long did that take? To pack your gear back up, get it on your back, get back to the car, get to a new location. So you just saw me pack my backpack. That's for when I'm getting ready to go out into the field. That's not how I pack my backpack when I'm leaving home on my way to the airport, because we use our backpacks as part of our carry-on. And there were things in there that cannot go on carry-on. So your paint, your palette knife, your brush cleaning things, all need to go in your checked luggage, and you're going to have extra room in your backpack. So put things that would typically go in checked luggage, like your heavy shoes, pair of jeans, extra clothes, you know, just try to disperse that weight from being in the checked luggage and your carry-on. When you do put your paint in your checked luggage, which is where it has to go, you can go to, let's see, outdoorpainter.com, what's in my bag /. That'll also be at the end of this video for you to reference back to. But if you will put one of these little inspection things in there, which talks about the flash points and that this is vegetable based, that it makes the inspectors a lot happier. You can also go to your paint manufacturer's website and print out what the flash points are, and sometimes that's good to have that extra piece of paper, extra security in there to make everybody comfortable and to get there with all of your gear. Let's see, what else have I not talked to you about? Oh, in packing clothes. That can be a challenge when you're going on a paint trip, because it's not like you're going on a vacation trip. Your cute, nice clothes can just stay at home. Most paint trips are a little rustic, usually in casual places. Just think about what your trip is. If your trip is really to be a paint trip, you don't need your cute, expensive, nice, lovely clothes. If we're going for a 10-day stint, I'll usually pack enough clothes for 5 days. There's usually a washer and dryer handy. If not, there's a laundromat that has wash and fold service, drop off in the morning, pick up clean in the afternoon. Also, one rule I have for me, being female, is if it has a zipper on the pants, it doesn't go with me. I need a little more convenience to be able to make a pit stop in the woods if I need to. And plus, their pants without zippers are just more comfortable. And it's all about being comfortable. I always pack for layers. Your second and third layer are generally, you're going to get 3, 4, 5 wearings out of them, because you peel them off as the day goes on. They're not touching your skin unless you have just, you know, slathered yourself in paint, and then you have another issue. But, you know, in your layering packing, don't pack 5 2 layers and 5 of the third layer. You don't need that. Pack 1 or 2 days of the second and third layer. They're going to last you. That'll help keep your weight down in your suitcase. When you're packing your shoes, pack 2 pair. 1 pair is likely to get wet. You want to have good, lightweight shoes that are easy to walk in, easy to hike in. Have good socks to keep your feet warm, dry, and blister-free. Be sure your shirts are a neutral color. If they're white, it's going to create a big glare on your canvas that you're painting that you're not going to like. If you have on a really cute pink top, your painting is going to have a pink cast while you're painting it, and it's going to throw your values and your colors off. So keep it gray, keep it black, keep it neutral, and you'll be much happier. If you're going to be painting in a wooded area, preferably take long pants and long shirts. They make great long sleeve shirts for summer that are sun protective and they wick the moisture away. But just for bugs, ticks, scratches, good idea to always have on long pants and long shirts. If you're going to paint snow, be sure to have insulated boots, wool socks, warm gloves, face coverings, scarves. Let's see, what else? Oh, perfume. Never wear it when you're plein air painting. The bugs will love you. I don't care how much bug spray you have on. Just leave your perfume at home. My makeup, when I'm on a paint trip, it ranges from non-existent to sparse. I'd rather carry paint gear and the bare essentials. You know, lip protector is always good to have, and moisturizer is always good to have. If you take supplements or daily medicines of any sort, I would recommend getting like these little pill packs, or again, the little pill containers, the weekly containers, and filling them up and just taking what you need. One, it takes up less room in your suitcase, and two, it weighs less because you're only taking what you need for that trip. These have come in very, very handy for us. So I think that's about all I have, and we're going to have Roger come back in and say good evening to you.
Okay, well that was Beverly. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you got a lot out of it. And you know, like I said before, you know, this is, you know, if you got to be comfortable out there. You've got to pare down, or you're not going to have a good time. And you know, we just want you to go out there and have the best experience that you possibly can. And so hopefully that's good for you. And so now get out there and grab your paints and go enjoy the process.